Welcome to a new season of Battle Axe, coming to you as always from the Bustin' Axe Throwing Range in Dubuque. I'm Joey Danya alongside Bobby Bradford. We are coming to you fresh off a thrilling fall season, and now it's time to start Winter League. If you're new to the program, before we get the competition started here in week number 1, let's go over the rules. It's a 7-week regular season leading up to a double elimination postseason tournament. All of the scores there are 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. The bullseye is worth 6 points. Once you hit the center bullseye, you can't score 6 on it until you switch sides at the half. If you want to score 6 points, you have to get those outer bullseyes, and you can get 6 points on each of them. On the outermost ring, you'll see that small blue dot. That's what's called the kill shot. It's worth 8 points. At any point during a match, a player can go for it. They can go for a kill shot 2 times in a match. If they hit it, they get 8 points. If they miss, they get nothing. Very high risk and high reward, Bobby.
Absolutely. It's high risk, high reward. We saw a lot of kill shot attempts and a lot of kill shot hits in our last tournament, and I think we're going to be seeing a lot more of these in the regular season as well.
And here is what everyone is competing for. It's the Bustin' Axe Championship Trophy.
Yeah, the Bustin' Axe Championship Trophy currently held by Eric the Scope Shizzle after a fantastic battle with Leroy Kedley. Eric came out on top, so he is the holder of the cup, but we know there's a lot of great competitors in this league, and everyone wants to take this baby home. It should be a great league.
Yeah, we saw last season there were so many competitors that were just right on the cusp of winning that championship cup. It was Eric the Scope Shizzle coming out on top. We'll see if he can defend his championship title, and with that, let's get the competition started here in week number 1. First up, it'll be Ann Welp, and she'll be taking on Justin Smith.
Yeah, so this was a matchup we saw in the finals, Joey. Just a tremendous matchup between Justin Smith and Ann Welp. Both getting the season started. Let's see how they throw.
And the new season is underway. Ann Welp with a great throw there to get things started. That axe gets away from Justin Smith just a little bit. So Ann Welp with a great start to the season. It's a bullseye.
Yeah, there's no better way to get the season started than with the bullseye. Ann was able to catch that on the right-hand side of that blade. For Justin, he just held on to it just a little bit too much. Still trying to dial in his throw here a little bit. Justin's one of the more consistent throwers, and we see Ann going for that upper left-hand side bullseye, and she is off the mark with a 2 there, and Justin able to pick up 3 points to make this a 9-8 game.
So Ann getting aggressive right out of the gate, and the gamble pays off for Justin Smith.
Yeah, and although the gamble didn't pay off for Ann Welp, I love that she went for that aggressive shot. She returns to the middle of the board there. It looks like a couple 5s.
Yeah, keep in mind, the regular season is all about setting the field for the postseason, and that field is determined by points. So obviously, you want to score as many points as possible, but you also want to put yourself in position to be comfortable going for those outside bullseyes because you're going to need to hit some of them in the postseason.
Absolutely. We talk about it time and time again. It's getting comfortable with those really difficult throws. And this is the time, the regular season is the time to work on all of that. As we see with throwers like Justin Smith, he kind of remains in the middle of the board, and that can get you, very far in this league. But we know that those high-pressure shots have to be made, and the more you get comfortable with them, the better off you are.
4-4.
Yeah, we saw Leroy Kedley ride that strategy of just throwing down the middle all the way to the championship match, and then he came up just a little short to Eric the Scope Shizzle. He certainly could have used having those outside bullseyes in his arsenal.
Absolutely. So 23-21 going into the turn. Justin Smith with a 2-point lead here. Looks like Ann just holding on to that axe just a little bit too much.
3-4.
And that's a 4 there for Justin, so not a ton of damage done for Ann Welp, but she is down by 3 with 4 throws to go.
Still plenty of time for Ann Welp to get back into this one. She's got to throw a good axe here, though.
Absolutely. Just takes one throw. We talk all the time, Joey, about how matches are determined by one throw, and that's a great throw there by Ann. That could be a bullseye if it's popping through on the bottom part of that blade.
This could be a 2-point swing here, and it is. So just like that, a 3-point deficit for Ann Welp becomes a 1-point deficit. Justin Smith wants to get another set of eyeballs on this one and see if perhaps it's a 4.
Yeah, so we're going to see there. Looks like that's going to be a 3 there for Justin Smith. So
wow, so actually we are all tied up. It's 30 all now. How about that?
Absolutely. So this was a great matchup we saw in the finals. Very close competition between these two throwers, so we should expect nothing less. Looks like that's going to be a 4 there for Ann, and a nice, looks like a bullseye there for Justin Smith, and it is popping through on the left-hand side of that blade.
What an answer for Justin Smith. Right after Ann Welb throws a bullseye, it's Justin Smith with a bullseye of his own to take the lead right back.
Yeah, both these competitors throwing a really nice game to get the season started, and just holding on to that axe just a little bit too long. And
4-4.
Happy to trade points is Justin Smith with a 2-point lead going into the 10th throw. We'll see how aggressive Ann gets.
Justin's up by 2.
If she wants to go for one of those outside bullseyes and count on Justin to throw 4, which he's thrown a few here in this match.
She will not be going for the kill shot.
Not going for the kill shot, but see if she wants to go for one of these outside bullseyes, and she elects to play the middle of the board, and Justin with a nice 5 there to close out this match.
So Justin Smith getting the new season started with a victory over Ann Welb, 45-42, the final score.
Yeah, so Ann, I wonder if she, got a little scared going for that upper left-hand side bullseye there on her second throw. She did have a 2, really put her behind the 8 ball a little bit. I just wonder if she became a little tepid going for those outside bullseyes. She did have an opportunity on the 10th throw to go for that bullseye, and then hope that Justin threw a 4, but Justin did throw a 5 there on his last throw to come out with the victory, 45-42. But another great close matchup by both these competitors, and a matchup that I'm looking forward to seeing play out the rest of this season. Ann had that 3 on her 6th throw, and then Justin had a 3 there on his 7th throw, but everything else 4, 5s, and 6s. So just a great match.
Well, we talked earlier about Leroy Kedley and his fantastic run all the way to the championship match last season. Kedley is back for another season, and let's throw it down to an interview with Kedley for his goals on the league.
But I like to tweak my game a little bit. Finishing second was was awesome, but I want to tweak. I want to get a little more kill shots, a little more outer bullseyes. But yeah, that's kind of what I want to tweak. So I don't know. Practice make perfect, and we'll see what happens.
So Leroy Kedley planning to get a little more aggressive here this time around.
Yeah, absolutely. We saw in the finals, Eric the Scope was able to hit some kill shots, and Leroy was not able to. And this is, again, the time of year that we need to be working on this during the regular season. Come tournament time, you're going to be happy you did.
Well, coming up now, it's Eric the Scope Shizzle against Leroy the Lumberjack Kedley in a rematch of last year's championship series.
Yeah, so we get a championship rematch here. Eric again throwing with his left hand still. Looks like that's going to be a 5 there for him, and possibly a 4 for Leroy, and it is.
So Eric the Scope out to the early lead here against Leroy Kedley.
Yeah, so Leroy just focusing up on the middle of the board. He's got to take care of that first bullseye before he starts venturing out to the outside bullseyes. And Eric holding on to the axe just a little bit too long. That's going to be a 4, and I think that's going to be a 5 there for Leroy.
So we're all tied at 9 after the first couple of throws here between Kedley and Shizzle. It was a great championship series and figures to be another good one here today.
Absolutely. So, and again, being the first match for everybody, they're still trying to figure out their throw, figure out their mechanics. It looks like that's going to be a 4 there for Eric the Scope and Leroy Kedley.
Yeah, these two were much sharper back in the championship series, and the pun was intended.
I see what you did there, and I like it, Joey.
13 all after 3 throws.
I think Leroy even heard you too. He's got a smile there on his face. That looks like that's gonna be close. If it's popping through on the right hand side of that blade, that could be a 5 there for Leroy, and we might have our first bullseye of the match here if that's popping through on the bottom side of the blade there for Eric the Scope.
4, 5.
Ooh, but ruled a 5 there by Cody Yoakum. Eric's gonna get a closer look and elect not to get a second opinion. But that was a very dangerously close throw there for Leroy. He desperately wanted that 5.
So Eric the Scope in front now, 18-17. 5th throw coming.
There's a nice throw. That looks like that could be a bullseye if it's popping through on the left-hand side of that blade. And that very close if it's popping through there for Eric the Scope, but ruled a 5. So Leroy able to tie this thing up going into the turn, 23-23. What else would you expect, Joey?
A nail-biter here between Kedley and Shizzle. They switch sides and get ready to go here for the second half. We'll see if they can keep this groove going after kind of a slow start for these two that typically are right in that center ring.
Yeah, we did not see a bullseye from Eric the Scope there on his first 5 throws, but it looks like number 6 will get the job done for 6 points. And Leroy off the mark with a 4 there, so quickly giving up the tie ball game here.
Now, Eric the Scope is one of the most aggressive players in the league. He can no longer score 6 on the center bullseye. We'll see if he goes outside to try and get more bullseyes.
Yeah, we'll see what his approach is going to be probably for the whole season here. Looks like we just got our answer there, Joey. He's going to be going for that upper left-hand bullseye. He is off the mark. Lucky that that's a 4.
And that opens the door right up for Leroy Kedley, who throws a 5 to get within a point.
And that's what I love, though, about these new rules, Joey. You know, it's high risk, high reward. You know, if you hit that bullseye, you do create that great separation between your competitor. But if you miss, I mean, you're throwing 3s. We see some 2s as well. So it really leaves the door open for your competitor. But Eric is not phased. He's going to keep going for those outside bullseyes. And you can see he is indicating a 3. It's a big ruling here for Leroy Kedley, and it is a bullseye on the 8th throw.
So Leroy Kedley takes a 2-point lead just like that. He said he wanted to get a little more aggressive this season. Will he get aggressive here with a 2-point lead and 2 throws to go against the Scope?
Well, we know Leroy is a very quick thrower. He rarely waits for his opponent to throw, and that's a nice throw. That's going to be a 5 there for him. But in these moments, I'd like for him to kind of wait for his opponent to throw, see what kind of mistakes they made, if they made any at all, for him to determine his next plan of action with his throw.
So now it's a 3-point advantage for Leroy Kedley. Will the Scope be going up? Yeah. Didn't even have to really think about that one. The Scope will be going for a kill shot, and he hopes that Leroy Kedley gets a 5 or less.
And Leroy's going to get a 5.
For sudden death, just off the mark.
5 and miss.
So Leroy Kedley getting the victory in the championship rematch over Eric the Scope, 48-40.
Yeah, just another tremendous matchup. Of course, Eric had the opportunity to go for that kill shot. If he would have hit it, we would have gone to sudden death, something that we saw them do when they were playing each other in the finals. But Leroy comes out the victor here, 48-40. As you can see there on the scorecard there for Eric Schissel, though, only 1 bullseye there on his 6th throw. Everything else was 4s and 5s, and that 1-3 there on the 8th throw. So being aggressive, going for those outside bullseyes, high risk, high reward. And unfortunately for Eric, he falls to 0-1 to get the season started. But for Leroy Kedley, he had those 2 bullseyes there on his 5th and 8th throw. I think he wants to see a little bit more bullseyes. Just a really consistent round for him, and something we should expect from a player that was in the championships last year that wants to take home that cup. So I'm sure we're going to see these 2 throw again, and I can't wait for it.
Much more Battle Axe still to come as we get this new season underway. Stay tuned here on MC22. Welcome back to Battle Axe. We are just getting a new season started here from the Bustin' Axe throwing range in Dubuque. I'm Joey Danya alongside Bobby the Blade. And Bobby, it's been an exciting start to the season. We're just getting started. Looking forward to this next matchup we've got here. It's Leroy the Lumberjack Kedley and a newcomer to the league, Ethan Kedley, son of Leroy.
Yes, so son of Leroy and Jill. Ethan Kedley, new to axe throwing, new to the league. Happy to have him. We always like a good father-son matchup here. And he gets his...
Look at him staring down Dad.
Exactly. So a couple 4s there. He's not going to be intimidated.
Yep, my bad. That is
so Eric called it a 3, but we could see there it was clearly a 4, so he's getting some correction here. I did see a little wobble in that axe, though, from Ethan Kedley, so he's got to make sure that doesn't creep in on him. We know that's a thing that can plague new throwers as well. And something tells me that Leroy's not going to take it easy on old Ethan here.
Well, just like that, Ethan Kedley has the lead over his dad. He's all smiles, and Leroy's smiling as well.
Absolutely. I'm sure there's some John going on back and forth. This is all about bragging rights here. But, you know, iron sharpens iron, so Leroy's going to keep putting the pedal to the metal, and, of course, a drop there, a devastating drop for Ethan. But like we say, Joe, if you're going to have a drop, you want to have it early on in the match. He's still got 7 more throws to go.
Yeah, I'm not going to say drop balls. We know what it is.
So after a very promising start to Ethan Kedley's Battle Axe career, that one gets away from him. We'll see how he responds right here.
It's all about how you respond, so. And it looks like he might have been going for that outside bullseye. We'll say he was, but unfortunately for him, he was off the mark there for a 3, and Leroy with a 5. So 17-12 going into the 5th throw. But we always talk about it, Joey. With new competitors, new throwers of axes, you really want to eliminate those drops, eliminate those 3s and 4s, and start finding that 5 and 6 ring as quickly as possible.
3 and a 5.
So Leroy Kedley with a commanding lead over his son, 22-15 after the first half. Still no bullseyes in this one.
Yeah, no bullseyes there for Leroy or Ethan. But for Ethan, he just wants to focus up. It's like golf. You want to have that one shot that keeps bringing you back. Looks like that's going to be a 2 there for Ethan and a 5 there for Leroy. But this is all learning experience here. So he's down 10. He's just got to focus up and find that one throw and then be able to mimic that and repeat that over and over again.
Yeah, he's had some good throws, so he just needs to figure out a way to get into a rhythm.
Yeah,
that was a good one right there.
Yeah, that's moving into the right direction. And I didn't see a wobble in that blade. So, again, something to build on, something to carry over to the next throw, the next match. That's all you're really looking for here.
Leroy Kedley throwing nothing but 5s as of late. That one might be a bullseye.
Might be if it's popping through on the right-hand side of the blade, and it is ruled. And Leroy giving the smack talk back.
Leroy Kedley strutting with a 13-point lead over his son, Ethan. He said he wanted to get aggressive. This would be a great time to get adventurous and go for those outside bullseyes.
Looks like that could be a 4, possibly a 5 there for Leroy.
4.
And that's going to be a 4 there for Ethan. So a couple 4s there on the 9th throw. 42-29 going into the 10th throw. And Leroy's going up. So he talked about it in his interview. He wanted to get comfortable going for those kill shots. And I don't know if Ethan signaled for it. I think he is going up for the kill shot here. He is, and he is off the mark with a drop. But Leroy
On the right.
hits a kill shot for a nice score of 50.
Yeah, Leroy Kedley not taking it easy on his son in the slightest.
All right.
He gets the win 50-29.
Well, I don't know about you, Joey, but my dad never took it easy on me when we went up and played any kind of sport. So I would expect nothing less from Leroy Kedley here. Well, 50-29, he improves his record to 2-0 with that nice kill shot there on the 10th throw. He only had one bullseye here, something that I think we want to work on here in the early weeks of this season number 12 here for Leroy Kedley. But he did have those 4 5s from his 4th to 7th throw, and then, of course, the nice kill shot there on his 10th throw. And then for Ethan, he's just got to focus up. It's the thing we've seen from new throwers all the time. You got to eliminate the drops, eliminate those 2s and 3s, and just find out whatever mechanism works best for you. We know we have great teachers here in Battle Axe, and I'm sure he's going to improve and make a run.
Next up, we've got another great matchup. It's going to be Michelle Frummelt, and she will be taking on Cody Yoakum.
So Cody Yoakum returning to the league. We saw him referee the finals of our fall league. And Michelle had a bit of an early exit from the championship, so we'll see if she wants to rebound and make another run for that cup. But Cody getting his season started off nicely with a bullseye.
Yeah, these are two competitors that have made nice runs previously in the postseason. We'll see how they fare here in the Winter League.
And this is our first time seeing Cody with these new rules here, so we find out quickly he's going to be aggressive going for those outside bullseyes, but he does leave the door open for Michelle to tie that up going into the 3rd throw. But I like the aggressive call, You got to keep that pedal to the metal, keep being the aggressor. Don't wait for your opponent to make a mistake.
Well, nice throw there from Michelle Frummelt. She just missed a bullseye.
Good. All right.
Yeah, so 14-12 going into the 4th throw. Michelle still looking for that bullseye, but playing the middle of the board. It looks like it could be. And Cody returns to the middle of the board, kind of sensing maybe the game was getting away from him a little bit.
5th throw.
So it's a 3-point lead here for Michelle Frummelt over Cody Yoakum. 5th throw coming.
And we'll see Cody going to that lower left-hand side bullseye. We'll see if he hit it on the left-hand side of the blade, and looks like that's going to be a 4 there for Michelle.
4, 6.
And ruled a hit, so a tremendous bullseye there for
Right, switch
Cody
sides.
Yoakum there on his
Michelle, you're
5th
up by
throw.
1. 22
And that's just what he needed. He gets himself back within a point here, heading into the second half.
Yeah, that's the kind of aggressive play you need to have if you want to take home the championship cup. And
4,
Michelle,
5.
we've seen that wobbly axe from her before, so we want to see her eliminate
All
that.
tied up.
But all
27.
tied up going into the 7th throw here.
So Michelle Frummelt stuck in the vortex right now. See if she can get out of it.
And it looks like that's going to be
4,
another
5.
4 and a 5 there for Cody, so he gains another point. 32-31.
So Cody Yoakum works his way back from a 3-point deficit. He now has the lead with just 3 throws to go.
Oh, and there's a great high-pressure throw there from Michelle.
5.
And I don't think it's popping through there for Cody Yoakum. So Michelle able to tie this thing back up. Got ourselves a nail biter here, Joey.
What a start to the season here for Frummelt and Yoakum. We'll see who can come out on top here in these last couple of throws.
Oh, looks like that's going to be a 4 there. And a tremendous throw there by Cody Yoakum. Takes a 1-point lead going into the 10th throw. Going to see how aggressive Michelle wants to be. Going to play the middle of the board, hoping that Cody throws a 4. It's something that is entirely possible. But Cody looks like that's going to be a bullseye there for Cody Yoakum.
So Cody Yoakum with a dagger on the final throw. He gets the win over Michelle Frummelt in a good one, 48-45.
Yeah, Michelle, she did have that bullseye there on her 8th throw, but she did get stuck in that vortex a little bit, allowed Cody to come back in this game. She did a nice job of capitalizing on Cody being aggressive, going for those outside bullseyes, so she was able to pick up some points on that, but unfortunately for her, she wasn't able to slam the door home, so she does fall to 0-1, but a nice score of 45, and she just got eliminated. You know, we saw some wobbly axes from her a little bit there, so we know that's something that she definitely wants to work on. And then for Cody Yoakum, you know, being really aggressive, coming out of the gate, going for those outside bullseyes. He had 3 bullseyes there on his scorecard, so for a nice round of 48. So if he's going to have this kind of mentality and this kind of tactic, he could definitely take home the cup.
4 matches down, 4 more still to come here in week number 1 of this new season on Battle Axe. We'll bring it to you straight ahead here on MC22. Welcome back to Battle Axe here at the Bustin' Axe Throwing Range in Dubuque. I'm Joey Danya alongside Bobby Bradford. It is week number 1 of this new season during a 7-week regular season leading up to crown a Battle Axe champion. Returning to the league this year is Zach Hinkle. Let's throw it down to Hinkle for an interview about his goals for this season.
Being able to hit the 4 outsides is what I guess my goal is, you know. Being able to get 6, 6, 6, 6, you know. But then you get in those games that you have to be able to just hit the 5s all day because you know you can beat that person with 5s.
Those are the highest of goals for Zachary Hinkle. The only guy who's really consistently hit those outside bullseyes has been Matt the Magic Man Bradshaw. He's back for another season here on Battle Axe. Here's the Magic Man on his goals for this season.
What I want to try and do is to go around the clock and both kill shots. I think I'm going to go all kills this season, just to try and make sure I can keep that competitive juice flowing. And the key for me is really dialing in the outside bulls, both upper and lower.
Bradshaw has that killer instinct. Matt the Magic Man Bradshaw taking on Zach Hinkle. What a nice way to start week number 1 here of this new season. These two are great competitors. This should be a fun one to watch.
Yeah, both competitors coming in, wanting to, as Matt said, go around the clock and hit those outside bullseyes. Looks like that's going to be a 4 there for Zach to get his season started. And no surprise, there's a bullseye from the Magic Man. But I thought it was interesting, Joey, in Matt's interview, he said he was going to be going for the kill shots all throughout the season.
Yeah, that's going to be fun to watch. Because the Magic Man, obviously, he plays in this league, but he plays professionally, and
yes,
he wants to get his game as sharp as possible.
And then just another great bullseye there by both competitors. Matt going for the upper left-hand side bullseye. But Zach gets the center bullseye, so we'll see if he's going to be going for that outside bullseye now. Because, again, like he said in his interview, you know, some matches you can play that middle of the board and beat your opponent with 5s. We know that's not the case with Matt the Magic Man Bradshaw. So you live by the axe, you die by the axe, and Zach went for the outside bullseye there, and Matt hit his, and Zach did not.
What a start for the Magic Man. It's a unicorn.
Well, I can't tell you how difficult it is to make that adjustment and then hit those bullseyes as consistently as Matt the Magic Man does. So he has an 18-13 lead, really dialed in coming out of the gate. We should expect nothing less. But for Zach, you know, this is a great opportunity for him to work on high-pressure throws, going for those outside bullseyes, sticking with your game plan, not worrying about what your opponent's doing.
Well, a perfect start for the Magic Man. 4 consecutive bullseyes. He is dialed in right now.
Yep, but as you can see there from the side cam, though, Zach is dialed in as well. He knows what Matt's capable of doing, but he has to work on his game. He does return to the middle of the board there, and what can you say? 5 consecutive bullseyes for Matt the Magic Man Bradshaw to get the season started.
A perfect start to the season for Bradshaw. He'll take a 10-point advantage into the second half. Hinkle's throwing well,
Yeah.
yet he's down by 10 because the Magic Man is on fire.
Yeah, the Magic Man is not leaving the door open for Zach to come back, and looks like that could be a 5 for Zach. It looks like that's going to be a 4 there, and Matt with his 6th consecutive bullseye. Just a tremendous performance.
Yeah, not much you can do here if you're Zach Hinkle other than just tip the cap to greatness and focus on your own game and improvement.
Yeah, and it's just like we saw with Ethan Kedley and his matchup. You know, you want that one throw that you can kind of take over not only to your next throw, but your next matchup and throughout the season. And we'll see if Matt can make it 7 consecutive bullseyes here. It's going to be close if it's popping through on the bottom part of that blade. Eric the Scope getting in there, getting a closer look.
Just need a little bit of red on both sides of the blade.
It's such a close call. It's hard to tell from that angle if it's popping through, but initially ruled a 3, so we'll see if the Magic Man wants to get a second opinion.
Yeah, he's going to get a close look at this.
Well, he's got a perfect game
yeah,
going.
Yeah,
so
I don't
he
want to
definitely-
jinx him, but he's got a perfect game going, and he'd like to keep it that way.
Yeah, we know this is the first match of the season, but if you can toss a perfect game, you want to do that. And Matt elects to accept the ruling of a 3. So the perfect game is gone, Joey.
By a matter of centimeters.
Yeah, he did not miss that by much. But he has an 11-point lead going into the 8th throw.
Throw number 8. Lane's open.
But we'll also see here if Zach's going to be aggressive going for the kill shot. According to his interview, that's something he wants to do. And looks like Matt the Magic Man Bradshaw is off the mark there for another 3. Initially ruled a 5. I wonder if Zach is going to get a closer look, knowing how
Yes.
crucial points are here in this matchup. So Eric the Scope coming in, taking a look.
6. That's good.
Oh, and you can see there from the side camera there, definitely a bullseye popping through the left-hand side. So a nice bullseye there for Zach. He able to get 3 points on the Magic Man.
And the Magic Man going up for the kill shot. He said he would.
Yeah, he said he was going to go up all season long. Oh, and then we get a late call there for Zach Hinkle
He
as
says,
well.
why not?
Yeah, why not? Absolutely. Get used to that kill shot. Oh, and it's close if it's popping through on the bottom part of that blade. And looks like Matt's off the mark, and yeah, from the action cam there, we can see it. It's not popping through on the bottom part of that blade for Zach Hinkle. But very close, though.
Yeah, and had he hit that, this thing would have been tied.
Yeah, would have been all tied up.
So-
And Matt the Magic Man Bradshaw going up again.
Same situation here. If Hinkle can hit and get a miss from the Magic Man, we would have sudden death.
I didn't see any indication from Zach that he was going for the kill shot, something he should have done. And Matt the Magic Man Bradshaw hits his kill shot, so it would have been a moot point. But man, what a score here. 50 for Matt the Magic Man Bradshaw and 38 for Zach Hinkle.
Matt the Magic Man Bradshaw, sharp as ever here to get this new season started with a victory over Zach Hinkle.
Yeah, I wonder if Zach wasn't aware of the position that he was in going into that last throw. So he elects to play the middle of the board. Again, he was down by 8, so if he would have gone for that kill shot and hit it and Matt were to miss, they would have been all tied up. But it is all for naught because Matt, the Magic Man Bradshaw, hit a flush kill shot there for a nice score of 50. But for Zach, these are all building blocks. He was aggressive coming out the gate. He hit that bullseye on his second throw. He was going for those outside bullseyes. Unfortunately for him, he hit those 3s and then kind of got stuck in the vortex a little bit. But I think over the course of the season, Joey, we're going to see him get more and more comfortable with those outside bullseyes. And then what can you say about Matt the Magic Man Bradshaw? 6 consecutive bullseyes to get his season started for a nice score of 50. And he's definitely a world-class competitor.
So fun to watch. Next up, it'll be Cody Yoakum taking on Leroy the Lumberjack Kedley.
Yeah, so the second match here for Cody Yoakum and the third match for Leroy Kedley, both coming in undefeated. And we saw from Cody in his first matchup, he was very aggressive going for those outside bullseyes going around the clock. So we'll see if he continues there. It looks like that's going to be a bullseye there for Cody to get this match started. And it's going to be a 4 there for Leroy Kedley. Oh yeah, you can see there from the side camera just popping through in the bottom part of that blade there for Cody Yoakum.
So a nice start for Cody Yoakum. This is not the position Leroy Kedley likes to be in.
Yeah, we were talking during the finals, Leroy wants to be in the driver's seat, be the aggressor. It's not his game to come back and make up points here.
Yeah, he's just as good as anybody in the league when it comes to consistently hitting that center ring.
Correct.
So when he gets the lead, he feels really comfortable. But when it comes to going outside, that's not his game. So he doesn't like to be coming from behind.
It's not his game so far, so we'll see how this season plays out, if he's going to get more and more comfortable with it. Was able to get a point there on Cody Yoakum there in that last throw. And looks like that's going to be a couple 5s there for both competitors.
So Cody Yoakum playing conservatively here with a 1-point advantage over Leroy Kedley. We'll see if he gets a little aggressive.
Well, we saw it with Ann Welp's matchup that she had to get the season started here. She went for that outside bullseye. She hit a 2. And I wonder if that kind of scared her off a little bit. I wonder if Cody's kind of suffering from the same thing. He was aggressive going for those bullseyes in this first matchup, but ended up coming away with a couple 3s. As it stands, he has a 1-point lead going into the 4th throw.
Leroy Kedley still looking for his first bullseye of the match.
And Cody going outside for that upper right-hand side bullseye, but he is off the mark, so that's going to be lucky that that's a 4 there. And Leroy with the 4 as well, so 22-23 going into the turn.
Yeah, good misses there from Cody Yoakum. If you're going to go outside and miss,
Right.
may as well be a 4.
Yeah, that 4 is definitely better than the 3 or 2 that we've seen. And it looks like that's very close to being a bullseye there for Leroy, but ruled a 5, and he elects not to get a second opinion. So still 27-28 going into the 7th row. But for both these competitors, they're doing a really nice job of, just matching points, trading points. These are all high-pressure throws when this game is that close, and we all know, Joey, that these kind of close matchups, they come down to one throw. It just matters what throw that is.
Leroy Kedley checking to see if perhaps it's a bullseye. Looks like there's a little bit of wood between the blade and the red dot, so it's just a 5, but it ties the match here.
Yeah, Leroy wanted to take the lead with that throw, but unfortunately for him, he was only able to tie it up. And looks like that's going to be a 5 there for Cody Yoakum. And 4 there for Leroy Kedley, and you can see him hanging his head a little bit.
6.
He had such a nice throw to come back in this game.
5.
So Cody Yoakum surrenders the lead and then gets it right back. 37-36, 2 throws to go. Both of these competitors can still score 6 on that center bullseye.
Yeah, these are just high-pressure throws here. And it looks like Leroy's got himself a bullseye there, and that's going to be a 4 there for Cody Yoakum.
For Cody.
So hitting that line. So the heavyweight matchup just going back and forth.
Yeah, these two exchanging blows. Who's got the final knockout punch here? Throw number 10 coming. Leroy Kedley clinging to a 1-point lead.
And remember, Cody Yoakum does still have that bullseye there, so he's going to elect to play the middle of the board, hoping that Leroy makes a mistake and allows Cody to at least tie this game or come away with a victory, but that is not the case because Cody Yoakum is off the mark with a 4 and Leroy with a nice 5 there on his 10th throw.
Well, after a runner-up finish last season, Leroy Kedley off to a perfect start here in this new season. He improves to 3-0, taking down Cody Yoakum 47-45.
Yeah, he only had that one bullseye there on his scorecard on the 9th throw, but that was a very, very important throw. Again, like we were talking about during the match, all these close matchups come down to one throw, and that is the throw right there. On the 9th throw, Leroy was able to hit that bullseye to take the lead, and he was able to expand his lead on the 10th throw with a nice 5, so he improves his record to 3-0. But as we saw from Cody Yoakum from his first matchup to his second matchup, he's being aggressive, going for those outside bullseyes. There's no 3s on his scorecard, so it's definitely something to build on. He falls to 1-1, but just a tremendous matchup by both competitors and something I'm looking forward to seeing the rest of the season.
Well, we've still got a couple matches to go here in week number 1. We'll bring them to you straight ahead here on MC22. Stay tuned for more Battle Axe. Welcome back to Battle Axe, coming to you as always from the Bustin' Axe Throwing Range in Dubuque. I'm Joey Danya alongside Bobby Bradford. It's been an exciting start to a new season in a 7-week regular season that will lead up to a double elimination postseason tournament where we will crown a Battle Axe champion. Still a couple matches to go here in this first week. Right now it'll be Jill Kedley. She'll be taking on Michelle Frummelt.
Yeah, so our first time seeing Jill Kedley after her third place finish in the Fall Leagues tournament. Michelle coming in at 0-1. She fell to Cody Yoakum 48-45 earlier tonight. Another wobbly axe there, but Michelle, lucky that's sticking in the board, but for her, she still gets a 4. Looks like that's going to be a 3 there for Jill Kedley.
So an early lead for Michelle Frummelt here after coming up just short earlier.
Yeah, and for Jill, she just had a tremendous tournament. She just made a great run, knocking off competitor after competitor.
Yeah, the Kedleys can throw a good axe. Jill taking home the bronze last season, Leroy the silver.
When we saw Jill last season, she was really aggressive, going for those outside bullseyes. She wasn't intimidated, going for those kill shots as well. And that's why it really paid off for her in that Week 8 double elimination tournament. Those were throws that she was much more comfortable with than some of the opponents that she went up against. Unfortunately for her, she just ran into the buzzsaw of Eric Discope.
Frummelt and Kedley stuck in the vortex right now.
Yeah, both players stuck in the vortex here. Looks like that's going to be another 4 there for Michelle, and Jill gets off the schneid with a 5 there, so all tied up at 16-16 going into the 5th throw. But no bullseyes yet. Jill taking a breath there. Looks like that's going to be a bullseye there for Michelle. And it's going to be a big ruling there for Jill if that's a 5 popping through the bottom part of that blade.
4.
Oh, but you can see there from the side cam that is a 4. So Michelle with a nice high-pressure throw to close out the first half here.
Well, a nice start to this one for Michelle Frummelt. She'll take a 2-point advantage into the second half.
Yeah, and it's just for Jill, she needs to reset, and then for Michelle, just releasing that axe just a little bit too early. It looks like that's going to be a 2 there for her and a 4 there for Jill Kedley. So fortunately for Jill, Michelle leaves the door open with a big-time 2 there on the 6th throw. Jill's able to tie this thing all up.
Michelle Frummelt in another tight one. She came up just short against Cody Yoakum. We'll see how she fares here against Jill Kedley. Couple 4s on the 7th throw, 28 all, 3 throws to go.
Now, we talk all the time, too, about how not all 4s are the same. Those are a tale of 2 different 4s there. Michelle had a wobbly axe. It was almost a 3, and Jill almost had a 5 there. So Michelle is kind of falling apart here after the turn. Looks like that's going to be another 2 there for her. And a bullseye there for Jill Kedley.
Yep, 6-2.
So just a tremendous swing here.
Jill Kedley with her best throw of the match, and it couldn't have come at a better time. It gives her a 4-point advantage with 2 throws to go.
And Jill knows all she needs to do is focus up on the middle of that board. It looks like that's going to be a couple 4s possibly if it's popping through the top part of the blade there for Jill Kedley. I think it was ruled a 3 initially, so Zach's going to get a closer look here, but I think we saw from the action cam that was popping through on the top part of that blade. And it is.
So we'll see if either Frummelt or Kedley go up for a kill shot here on the final throw. No reason for Kedley to feel the pressure to do it, but looked like Frummelt was considering.
Yeah, it's something, part of her game that she's not too familiar with, but that looks like a nice bullseye there. And it's going to be a 4 there for Jill Kedley.
So it's Kedley getting the victory over Michelle Frummelt, 42-38. Frummelt closing it out nicely, but it's Kedley the victor.
Yeah, Michelle can definitely hang her hat on her last throw. She had a bullseye there on her 5th and her 10th throw. Unfortunately for her, on her 6th, 8th, and 9th throw were all 2s, which really allowed Jill to come back in this thing, take the lead, and then run away with it. For Jill, she had a little too many 4s probably on her scorecard. She got the night started off with a 3, something that she doesn't want to have on her scorecard if she wants to continue making the progression that she has throughout her axe throwing career. But still, a nice score, 42. Definitely stuff to build on. For her, she just has to kind of focus up, finding that 5 and 6 ring a little more consistently, and then allowing herself to go for those outside bullseyes and be the aggressor in the matchup. But this is 2 great competitors, and I'm looking forward to see what they do the rest of the season.
Absolutely. Time now for our final match of week number 1. It's Zach Hinkle taking on Cody Yoakum.
So our second time of seeing Zach Hinkle. He went up against Matt the Matchman Bradshaw in his first match of the night. He fell 50-38. But both these competitors, we know, Joey, they're going to be going for those outside bullseyes. So this should be a great matchup.
Yeah, it should make it a lot of fun to watch. Could have a lot of swings back and forth.
So a couple fives here by both competitors to get this match started. And to your point, Joey, it could absolutely be who blinks first.
Great throw there from Cody Yoakum. We'll see if it's a bullseye. The Magic Man get a closer look, and it's a 5.
You know, I think it was initially ruled a 5 and got up there. It wasn't popping through in the bottom part of that blade.
Cody up 1.
Looks like that could be a 4 and a bullseye there for Zach Hinkle.
So Zach Hinkle first to hit the bullseye in this one. That one gives him the 1-point lead after 3 throws.
So we'll see here if he wants to start going around the clock here. Looks like he's set up for it, and Cody's still off the mark. And it looked like that's going to be a 4 there for both competitors. Couldn't tell where that axe landed if Zach was lining up to go for that outside bullseye, but with the lead, he's happy to trade points. Looks like that could be a 5 there for Zach, and Cody's hoping that it's a 5 for him on the right-hand side.
All right, we got 2 5s.
So Zach Hinkle will take a 1-point advantage into the second half here against Cody Yoakum in the final matchup of week number 1.
Zach, you were up by
Well, and again,
1.
this is a position Zach, you know, he's not too familiar being in. It's a very close game. You really have to work on separating yourself from your opponent, really take advantage of their mistakes, and he does a great job there. Looks like that's going to be a 5 to Cody's 4.
Yeah, he just got the 5. Cody just missed it.
Right, yeah. Cody was very close to hitting the 5 there, but Zach doing a nice job of increasing his lead to 2 going into the 7th throw. And then for Cody, with the bullseyes reset, he's playing the middle of the board, and
2 4s.
looks like he's able to get that point back if it's popping through in the bottom-hand side. I think it was initially ruled a 4, but we saw from the action cam it was popping through in the bottom-hand side of that blade. Cody's getting a closer look. Michelle will come up for the official ruling.
Correctamundo, that is a 5.
So the ruling goes in favor of Cody Yoakum. It's a 5, and that gets him within a point of Zach Hinkle. A nail-biter here to wrap things up in week number 1.
Well, here we are going back and forth, and it looks like that's a bullseye there for Zach Hinkle, and possibly a 5 for Cody. If it's popping through in the top part of that blade, it's going to be a big call here.
Yeah, from here it doesn't look like it is, but just heard Michelle Frumbold say it is a 5, so a big ruling there for Cody Yoakum. It keeps him within 2 after the bullseye from Zach Hinkle. What a shot there from Hinkle.
Yeah, just a great high-pressure throw, and Cody just popping through for that 5, and looks like that's going to be a couple 4s. Zach not far off from the bullseye, or from a 5, excuse me. Popping through on the right-hand side. He was hoping. I think it's worth a call here, Joey, to get, you know, a second opinion here on it.
So final throw.
But he elects to keep the 4
We're 41 to 43. Zach, you
up
were
by 2, and Cody going for the kill shot.
Cody Yoakum getting aggressive.
called.
I love it. Going for the kill shot down by 2. The way Zach's been throwing, he can't count on him to make a major mistake, and it looks like he nailed it.
Wow, what a shot from Cody Yoakum. A kill shot for the win.
Yeah, you can see he's all smiles, and Zach's in a little bit of disbelief because Cody Yoakum comes from behind, takes this thing 49 to 48. It was everything that we expected, Joey. It was just a great heavyweight matchup, going throw to throw. As you can see there, a couple bullseyes there for Zach Hinkle on his scorecard on his 3rd and 8th throw for a nice score of 48. He did everything he was supposed to do. He hit that 5 there on the 10th throw. He didn't have to be aggressive going for those outside bullseyes. Sometimes you just have to tip your cap to your opponent. Cody went for that kill shot there on the 10th throw and comes out the victor 49 to 48. He wasn't allowing Zach to, counting on Zach to make a mistake. But for Cody, though, he did not have a bullseye, though, on his scorecard. So just a tremendous job to come away with the victory with no bullseyes. He improves his record to 2-1, and Zach falls to 0-2.
What a way to wrap up week number 1 here in this new season on Battle Axe. A thrilling finish there between Hinkle and Yoakum. Time now for our post-game wrap-up. Well, after the first week of competition, let's take a look at the standings. No surprise, it's Matt the Magic Man Bradshaw, the former champion, off to a perfect 4-0 start, averaging nearly 50 points per game.
Yeah, he's coming out the gate red hot, but as you can see there, Joey, Leroy Kedley there with 47.5 points per match after week 1. So he's right on his tail in the second position, followed by Justin Smith, Zach Hinkle, Jill Kedley, followed by Zach Hinkle, Jill Kedley, Eric Schizzle, Michelle Fremelt, Ann Welp, Bob Yoakum, and Nancy Kramer rounds out the top 10.
Well, what a great start to this new season of Battle Axe. We'll see you back here on MC22 for week number 2 for the entire MC22 crew. This is Joey Danya signing off. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time here on Battle Axe.